Welcome to the best gambling show on the internet. This is the home of the money pick. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Now we got the AFC and NFC championship over-unders. Let's get to the Cincinnati Bengals at the Kansas City Chiefs. The over-under is 54.5. I got this pushing towards over, and I understand when I say Chiefs, you say over. We've been playing that game for 2 years. But in the playoffs, the tempo of the game changes. But still, something about this game just screams shootout to me. I don't know how it's going to turn into a shootout. I personally don't think the Bengals want it to turn into a shootout, but I think at a certain point it will. Look at what transpired in the Bills-Chiefs game. We saw that one coming. That second half was a game of Madden. I think we see something similar in the second half of Cincinnati KC. I wouldn't snub my nose if you bet the under in the first half. But when I'm looking at this game, okay, we think Joe Mixon's going to run it a lot to protect the Bengals' offensive line, but also keep Mahomes off the field. But if the Bengals fall behind in this game, you know they're going to sling it. Even if Joe Mixon gets sacked 15 times this game, you know they're going to keep slinging it. You know they're going to keep bringing it down the field. And this Chiefs offense is hot. I mean, they're coming in this game extremely hot. There's no other words to work our way around it. We haven't seen them really hit that height this season into that Bills game, and I think it continues against the Bengals. The Bengals defense, they got a lot of hard workers, but they don't got a lot of stars. And listen, they've had a good pass rush with Hubbard, Hendrickson, but we've seen them slow down the last 5-6 games of the season. So if there's no one to rush Pat Mahomes, that's another reason why this thing's going over. And then we saw this Chiefs secondary. They had problems with like Cole Beasley. Yes, they doubled Diggs. They took Diggs out of the game, but they made Gabriel Davis look like a 4-year in the league Terrell Owens, man. And, you know, the targets are only taking a step up. Chase, Higgins, Boyd. I mean, this Bengals team's got weapons for days. Plus, Mixon's a very underrated receiver out of the backfield. I just think everything in this game weighs it towards over. I would be surprised if it goes towards under. I mean, you could say I'm betting the under because I think this game's going to be uncompetitive. I think the Chiefs smack them around 33-14, something along those lines. If you think that's going to happen, then bet the under. But I just don't see the Bengals going out without a punch. I don't see them going out easy against the ropes. I see them fighting to the death. And I just see too much explosion in their offense. And then, like, we want to circle back to this Chiefs defense. There's tons of questions. And I know everyone's feeling good about the Bengals defense after picking off Tannehill 2 times last week. But I don't know, man. I don't take a lot from that. I still think they got issues. I still think you can eat their secondary. And I still think the Chiefs offensive line, even though there are some weak points, I think they'll hold firm enough for Pat Mahomes. Now, we don't know if Andy Reid's going to have run-pass balance. I don't think he will. I saw the player prop for Edwards-Helaire was over under 37.5. I actually think the Chiefs run it just enough not to let their offensive line get hammered. I'm going over the 54.5. And the more I think about it, I really like it, even though 54.5 is extremely high for a playoff game. Next game, we got the San Francisco 49ers at the Los Angeles Rams. The over-under is 46. I'm going under. I think Stafford has a big day. I think the Rams receiving core has a big day. But I think it's going to be in a controlled environment. I think they're going to play this game very controlled, very meticulously, very carefully. That's one reason why I got this going towards an under. Another reason is Jimmy Garoppolo. And some people are saying they're seeing a new Jimmy G these playoffs. I wonder if they're watching the same film as me. I wonder if I don't know what they're looking at, but Jimmy G has not been good this playoffs. I don't know why I have to respond to those comments. If you think the 49ers are going to win the game, that's fine. You got Shanahan, you got a fierce offensive line, and you got fucking Bosa on the other side. Who am I to smug my nose about that? But don't say it's because Jimmy G's playing good or that he's not as bad as we thought and the media hammers him. That's why people think Jimmy G stinks. No, Jimmy G stinks. He really does. And Ayuk is one of the most underrated players in this league. You put him with Debo and Kittle, that's fire. That's a quarterback's heaven, especially when you talk about play action and a run game. That's heaven. Like, that's oasis for a quarterback. And we see Jimmy G, at best, he's average. At worst, he'll throw away a game. And that's what I'm looking at here. That's why I'm going under. I see the Rams winning this like 24-20. I see the Rams winning at 24-17 in that range. Now, this 49ers secondary is vulnerable, and you're looking at Cooper Kupp and Odell Beckham in one of the nastiest high lows I've ever seen since I've been watching the NFL. I just wonder, how the hell do you stop it if Stafford's getting protection? And one thing that will help Stafford get protection is we know Cam Akers is going to get the ball. And we saw him fumble 2 times last week, and that was absolutely horrific. And it made us sweat on our Tampa Bay bet a lot. But Cam Akers helps his team a lot, and it helps McVay have the confidence to stay with the run pass balance. Let's not throw Matt Stafford 70, 75% of the time, because that's when bad things happen. And if you start hitting Matt Stafford, that's when the balls start flailing. That's when the interceptions start coming. And that's obviously what the Rams want to avoid. So I think the Rams play a careful game, even though Stafford's playing at a really high level. Everyone's question about the Rams going into the playoffs was, how's Stafford going to play? Is he going to choke? And no one's talking about that. But let's be honest, man, it's still on McVay's mind. It still is. The Rams have been a money pick every single week, but you know that is still on McVay's mind, and that's why they're going to have run-pass balance. That's why you're going to see more Cam Akers than you think you're going to see. And listen, an X factor in this game is Higbee. I don't see anyone in this 49ers secondary that can cover him. I think the 49ers, they're going to do what Zona did. I think they're going to double Cooper Kupp, and it's going to be Odell, Higbee, and Von Jefferson one-on-one, and I think Stafford eats that way. But like I said, it's going to be a controlled attack. They don't want to lose the turnover battle. And speaking of the turnover battle, we'll see what the Rams do. I think they're going to sell out to stop the run of the 49ers. And that leads to Jimmy G throwing, and I think that could lead to turnovers. Listen, he almost threw 3 pick-sixes in that game against the Packers. Even Troy Aikman was saying that, and Troy Aikman's not even harsh on people. And we saw Jimmy G try to give the game away against the Dallas Cowboys. So I don't think Jimmy G plays a good game. I think he's like under his player prop, whatever that is. And 49ers, they're going to have success running it, but they need to hit the Rams with the play action. They need to hit 3 or 4 big plays off play action. I don't think they do it. The Rams have more explosion. I'm going under this 46. Hit the like button. Share the videos. Best gambling show on the internet.